There we go. There we go. All right, everybody should be able to hear us and see us now. Do me a favor and bump Canterbury out of the room. We don't want his pathetic butt in there. Although I know who Canterbury is, I don't want his pathetic butt in there. You can bump him out of the room. You just lock him up for a year, put him down for 52 weeks, lock him out. We won't bother with that anymore. I think Canterbury and Jane Fonda have been hanging out together, so somebody comes in with in the room with Dave Canterbury's name. Yeah, I hear you there. I hear you. So, well, hi, country. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Just trying to live.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to live life 1 week at a time here, man. Waiting for Thursday night. Bug somebody else for an hour.
Yeah, let me get the volumes adjusted here. That might be a little better. Audio. Does it sound any better to you all in the room? I know I don't look any better, but do I sound any better? Huh? Oh, he left already. So, anyway, he got upset because we were talking about banning him. Anyway, we had a little computer problem there. I'm sorry. The other day we crashed. The computer crashed, and I lost everything. I lost the sign-in code, and I had to call Castle and say, do you have the sign-in code? Because I can't find it. And neither one of us had it, so we had to reset it. So that was just wonderful. But if you'll hang on for a minute here, I'm going to try something. Now, this is not going to be permanent, but I'm going to try this to see how this goes and see what you all think there. And, oh, look, Big Dirt's joined us. Thanks for joining us, Big Dirt. Yeah, he's coming in the room. So let me try this to see how this goes. Hold on a minute, country.
All right, man. Do what you got to do.
The views and opinions expressed during the shows are strictly those of the host and their guests, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Around the Cabin.
I'm going to eat my chicken.
Here at Around the Cabin, we are proud to be sponsored by UVPacklight.com. UV Packlight is a family-run business with products made right here in the U.S. UVPacklight.com. Use the promo code Rich the Ridge Hunter. That's UVPacklight.com, promo code Rich the Ridge Hunter.
Yeah, it was worth a try. It was a little low, I guess, because we have the Skype thing going with the audio and everything. It was a little low on that, so I'll have to remember that next time. And pop a top here on a soda can. All right. So what's the show tonight about?
Well, where do we get our preps and everything? That's what I want to talk about. And, you know, everybody's got their websites they go to and stuff like that. But as far as, you know, shopping locally and everything, I check on Craigslist, and I get a lot of stuff off of Craigslist. Like I bought a dehydrator here a while back off of Craigslist. And I've even seen those real expensive dehydrators on there. If you go to your local Salvation Armies and secondhand stores, you can be surprised what you can pick up at them. And places like that. Have you done anything like that, Rich? And what all have you picked up?
Oh, yeah. I normally hit the secondhand shops, as we call them around here, and all that good stuff. And besides getting my grandpa's, you know, your grandpa's clothes and stuff like that, and I look good in that big coat. But besides doing all that stuff, I like to look around and see what they've got. I've got some hurricane lanterns I picked up, and a couple of stainless steel bowls that I really like. Usually people go through all the silver and stuff like that, so I don't even bother looking for those things. But yeah, quite a few shirts and a couple of slacks and things like that I pick up. Now, I know that ours here, you can actually plug it in and test it before you take it home. Some places do, some places don't. Every store around here lets you plug them in and test them. Anything, you know, from TVs to dehydrators to whatever. I've got a couple of crock pots from there.
They let you test them up here too. I've got a wish list on Amazon. I go in there, and if Amazon is better than eBay, it's You can go on there and, if you can think of it, Amazon usually sells it. Sometimes they're higher priced. They even give you prices, 2 or 3 different prices there on shipping and free shipping and stuff like that. I bought a couple things up of them. I did buy me I don't know if I told you last week or not, I've got a meat grinder coming.
Yep,
and
you mentioned that.
I'm looking forward to it. It should be here within the next 3 or 4 days. They said it'd take about 6 days to get there. And I've got my food video up that we'll watch here in a few minutes. And one of the things I got this week was those hams. They were 8, 9, 10 pounds each, and I got them for 99 cents a pound. They're smoked. They're fully cooked. But I got to thinking, I can grind them up. I can make ham sandwiches out of them. I can turn around and make maybe a ham stick out of it, dehydrate them. Heck, if I can find some spices, I might even try to make a sausage patty out of that or something, spice it up.
Now, is that a spiral sliced ham or just a regular ham, or?
It's regular. I've got to cut it myself, but that's no big deal.
Bone in?
Yep, bone in.
Now, see, I can get those for 99 cents, usually for about $11, so it's about 11 pounds. I get those hams at Aldi's. They have them here at Aldi's marked down that way, and we pick them up. This month they didn't have any, so I didn't snag any hams. But I got a big deal on ground beef at Gordon Foods. Down here we have Gordon Foods, and then we picked up stuff there. GSI Foods, and they supply catering places and things like that. But you can actually go in and buy there as a individual. You don't have to be a business to buy there.
We got Gordon Foods up here, but the closest one for me is about 25 miles away. When it's over where I used to live, so that's Sam's Club's closer for me, and there's another BJ's or something closer. But what I've been doing is my 2 local grocery stores here. I've been going there and buying nothing but what's on sale. So, just catch the sales. I mean, you can't be brand loyal. You can't go and get just Peter all the time. So this time I were 2 for.
You still there? Uh-oh, we lost him.
Even better.
There we go.
But I'm still here.
Okay. Kind of flashed in and out there for a minute on me. Anyway.
I lost it on the screen too, so.
Yeah. Now what I was going to say with Gordon Foods and with other places, my big thing is we go shopping, we check before we leave the house. So before we walk out of here, we check, see what's on sale, what's not on sale, different prices, different places. I have Kroger's. Kroger's is like a Piggly Wiggly or, Giant Eagle or stuff like that. We have Kroger's around here. And they had more for their chicken breast and that than they did at Gordon Foods. Now, I just normally buy a chicken and cut it myself, but they had bags of chicken breast, which is like 8 pounds or whatever, for $10. And that's not bad for boneless, skinless chicken breast. So I went ahead and picked 2 of those up. I splurged a little on chicken breast, so I picked up 2 bags of chicken breast this time around.
Well, they had the boneless, skinless chicken breast over here for $1.99 a pound. Even chicken's high up here nowadays. I mean, everything they said food prices went up the past year about 30%, and 30% of living on a budget cuts into the budget a lot. Now, one of the things that I did buy this week that nobody's going to like except probably me and you is I got jalapeno flavored Spam.
There you go.
And it was good. I think it was $2.35 a can. Wasn't bad. And stuff like that. But
I got a can of it was a great big number 10 can of peaches, and it's got a big dent in it, and they marked it down. And it was only $3 for a big number 10 can of peaches. And I'm going to take that can of peaches and I'm going to dehydrate them peaches.
Oh, that'll be good. Them things will be sweet.
Yep, it'd be like eating peach candy.
Now, one of the other things, I wanted to talk about tonight, Rich, is YouTube. We put videos up on YouTube to teach other people and, you know, make a couple of pennies off our AdSense if, I think I'm up to $50 whole in the past 2.5 years that I've been on YouTube. So, wow, I'm getting rich real quick. But, what I do is, I type into YouTube. If I want something, dehydrating peaches, dehydrating meat, anything like that, I can go to YouTube, and being from Missouri, if you show me, if I can look at a video on it or have somebody show it to me one time, I pretty much got it. And I would rather, instead of watching the next big scandal in Washington, D.C. on the news, I'll sit here and watch YouTube videos and try to learn something and educate myself.
There you go. Well, chat administrator just put in that they got 2 pineapples and will dehydrate them. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love, and I don't know how I did it without it. Well, I do, but I didn't do it very well. I have what's called a mandolin. No, not the kind I play, but the one for slicing. It has different, I've shown it on video, it has different attachments that go into it for different depth of cut. And I'll tell you, when you're dehydrating and doing things like that, if you have uniform slices, it works so much better. So much better as everything's uniformly sliced. My oranges I do up that way when we make dehydrate the oranges are all uniformly sliced and everything. It works out so much better.
Those pineapples, after you get done dehydrating them, will be sweeter than any candy bar that you ever ate in your life. I've done it, and they turn out excellent.
Now,
it is really something.
My wife takes a bag of oranges. I do oranges and slice the oranges up and dehydrate the orange rings, and she'll take a whole 1-gallon Ziploc bag to school, and when she comes home from school that day, they're all gone. So she'll go in for a couple hours of night class at school. When she comes back, they're all gone. Everybody in school sits there and eats all the dehydrated oranges I made. So I cut off making oranges and banana chips right now because she keeps taking them to school.
Oh, the banana chips were good back in the good old days before when I could eat them. But any of the fruit leathers that you can make, roll them up in wax paper, just like you do the fruit roll-ups when you get them, and they turn out good. I made some fruit roll-ups here the day out of strawberry jam, and if you could put strawberry jam in a needle, I'd shoot it. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm addicted to it, that and peanut butter. So those are my 2 go-to jelly deals in the morning with my toast or biscuits or whatever. So,
besides, now, do you like grape jelly?
No.
I'm not a big grape jelly eater, but right now I have so many grapevines growing around the place here that I've eaten them and they're okay, but I am really considering doing down a grape jelly just to make grape roll. Now, I don't mind grape candy and stuff like that, so I might do the grape jelly just so I can smear it out and dehydrate it. I don't know. I really don't know yet. Do the wild grapes this year.
Well, my mom used to make the muscadine grape jelly, and she would leave the hulls in it. I don't know why, but she did, and they turned out delicious. And ever since then, I try to buy the grape jelly stuff at the store, and it doesn't compare, no way, no how, and I just don't even like the taste of it. Not after you've had the good stuff.
Yeah. Once you get spoiled on it, it's kind of hard to go back.
But educating yourself on YouTube and watching videos, you'd be surprised. I go back to people I know and check and on their videos, and if I want to do something, I can go back and on my YouTube channel, I'll go in there and I'll save their videos. And I'll go back and watch them 2 or 3 times until I figure out what's going on. Hey, Perry, how you doing, brother? Glad you made it. And I watched their videos several times until I figured out, well, I can do that. And then I'll either make a video on my own or turn around and do it myself. It's just like here lately, I've been doing a lot of beef jerky. And I don't even know who it is. There's one old man on YouTube that I've been watching his videos, and I've learned a lot from him. He's got one of those big professional grinders. Man, that thing's got a 2-inch throat in it, and he can go through 30 pounds of meat in about 15 minutes. I mean, it just slides it right out when he's doing his sausages and everything. And then he's got one of the separate tubs where you put meat in it and mix all your spices in it. And then he's got the press that you turn around and put it in that, and you make the sausages and the casings, and he's got 4 or 5 different sizes, and there's a bunch of things you can learn. I've learned a lot from him.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff out there you can watch and learn from, and hopefully we'll get some of them people over here to do it on the website, and people will be able to come over here and learn from it. And that's what we're looking for. Looking for people to come here and teach it, people to come here and share it, show it. Because, now I have heard, and they have been threatening, YouTube keeps changing and changing. And they actually talked at one point of making YouTube pay. You'd have to, be paying on YouTube instead of getting stuff for free and watching things for free. And that would really be bad.
Well, I think you had to have so many subscribers or something before you had to start paying to watch your channel or something. I don't know exactly how that worked, but they would lose my business. I'm sorry to say.
Well, you know what I'd do is I'd get that many subscribers, and then I'd just change my channel.
Yeah.
I'd start another one.
But you could always go over to there's different ways of getting around paying it, but I forget where we are. Google Plus. You can go over there and do a show, and put up a video and leave it on that.
Yeah, but if your Google Plus goes back to YouTube, so if you do it on the Google Plus, and YouTube starts making you pay, you're going to lose out.
They are affiliated with each other, aren't they? I forgot about that.
Yes, sir, they are. You don't go to Google Plus to watch it. You go to YouTube and because getting feedback through you.
I'll back up a little bit.
Yeah, you need to get somebody to help you fix that computer thing. Woo.
Is it hearing that feedback, or is it just Rich that's hearing it?
You guys hear that in the room? Sounds like somebody's pouring water. There we go, it quit. Shannon Min says yes, they heard it. Sleep No More says they can hear it too. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that is.
Okay, we're going to try it now completely without headphones at all. I'm using my microphone. Are we still getting feedback?
Nope.
All right. We're going to do it that way.
Yeah. Perry says it's in your settings. Yeah, he knows it's in the settings. He just don't know how to fix it, and I don't know what he's doing over there, so I can't fix it. I'm not a computer guy.
My computer tech guy can call me later and check it out for me. I don't know how to do it. He's a pretty good old boy when you can get him up and running around. Yes, Perry, I need you.
Yeah.
I like my headphones, but just the way I'm working it here, we'll have to do without the headphones.
I thought maybe you had a broken wire in them headphones or something. It was allowing the speakers to turn on and come through. And
no, it's the settings.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the YouTube and everything, and after that, there's a couple of people on YouTube were talking about how many books they've read here in the past year. I read the books that you sent me, Rich, and you and Castle Mom. I appreciate all the books that you sent me and the plant books and different ones on the homesteading and stuff like that.
Yep.
I picked up 2 books from Zion Prepper. He's got his on Amazon, and I've got both of his. I've read 1.5 of them, and reading's not been my forte because I am a sighted individual instead of reading. I never have liked reading, but I've learned a lot. I've really got to get on a subject that I want to know a lot about, and then I can turn around and read stuff on it. And once if we went into a significant life-altering situation, we're not going to have internet. We're not going to have electricity unless we got our generators.
Yeah, and that's where you need a book so you can look it up.
Need books, for our backup, and that's the reason I'm learning now. And we learn from each other, and we do everything, together, and little bit at a time. I didn't even know what an alcohol stove was a year ago, and now I can knock one out and make one in about 10 minutes. Will I ever use it? Maybe not. I know
An
enough.
alcohol stove, isn't that where a drunk gets on fire?
Yeah, pretty much. It's according to how much you drink.
Or how close dirt gets to them.
But after a while, you can sit here and take your little alcohol stoves, and before you quit smoking, you can use them for ashtrays. I mean, that's all they're good for. But I quit smoking, so mine's sitting here on the desk now, and I play with it every once in a while.
No, I don't smoke, so don't bother with that. And alcohol stoves, well, you got to have alcohol. I find that I like burning sticks much better because I can find sticks easier than I can find alcohol. Although, I can make alcohol, then you have to waste that alcohol you made to burn, whereas to make the alcohol, I need to burn something anyway. I'm not going to burn the alcohol to make the alcohol, so it kind of gets in a very bad catch-22 situation.
Yeah, I mean, those what do you call them? The stoves that you burn the sticks in nowadays?
You got, well, I don't know, all kinds of different stoves. You thinking rocket stove?
Yeah, the little rocket stoves and stuff like that. They work out pretty good. I haven't built none yet. I do have a couple of 1-gallon cans saved back and going to try it. I've got to get me some vermiculite and go from there.
Well, you can do that, or you can make it with concrete. You just need some kind of filler in there that won't burn up. You could do it with gravel. Wouldn't be so great, but it would work.
That's to hold in the heat, isn't it?
Well, that's if you're using it for heating, but no, it's to keep from the outside from catching fire. You're gonna heat that thing up so badly on the inside. If you set it on something, if you set it outside on a piece of concrete and used it as a stove and cooked over it, it wouldn't matter. If you're going to use it for heating purposes, well, there's a different.
I do know that my cook stove, it was a gas cook stove. They took it out. It completely died on me. It wouldn't start. And they set it out on the side of the road, and I went out there and I grabbed the grills out of it and put them in my closet. And it wasn't 15 minutes later till somebody picked that thing up for junk and hauled it away. These boys don't mess around up here. If you set it on the side of the road, it disappears quick.
Yep.
And if you have, that's another way, if you're out of a job and want to make money, junking, I mean, you might take it to the junkyard and get $5 for it, but hey, if it's less than 10 miles down the road, you're ahead of the game,
Well, you got to have the vehicle to haul it. You got to have the gas money to get it there in the first place, and then you got to hope whatever you're hauling makes enough money to pay for not only just the fuel, but the wear and tear on the vehicle and all the other stuff that goes on with it. People just think that they get by, you know, oh, I'll have to get some gas money, or I'll get a couple extra bucks for cigarettes, and then they wear the tires out, and then they're out a bunch of money. Well, I can't get the truck fixed. What am I going to do?
It's a gamble, you know. I mean, a lot of people do it for a living. I used to junk cars out in California when, scrap metal was $75 a ton. And my portion after the guy that I worked for, he had a truck, he had a dolly, the whole bit. And I was making $300 a day after his expenses, and he paid himself. So we were flat junking some cars back then. We got 27 cars out of one 5-square block area. We got lucky. We were the only one in that area that was doing it. I mean, we made a killing.
Well, we had one of them old, now I don't even know if they're legal anymore to use, but we had a bumper hitch that would change to the bumper of the car, and then we had a hitch on the back of the truck that hitch actually hooked onto, like a regular trailer hitch. And we would scrap the cars that way, just towing them with the pickup truck, like it was a trailer. And we'd take it back, and the first thing we'd do is we'd say, well, does it run? And they say, yeah, and we didn't care if they had a tire or not. We'd take the engine out or the transmission out, sell whatever parts off of it we could, and then we'd take the body over and scrap it. The only other thing we had to do is we had to either have the oil pan off of it and drained out, or should I say the gas tank had to be removed. So, being hillbillies that we were in Kentucky, we would go down and drop the motor and transmission out and keep those to sell. And we'd take the car and we'd put a big log chain around the car, around the gas tank, and we hooked it to an old bridge that was down there by our place. And we'd take the truck and drive away, and it would just rip the gas tank out of the back end of the car. And then we'd pick the gas tank up and throw it in the back of the truck, and then take it down and junk that and say, here's the gas tank, it's separate, and they'd throw that tank over on a pile of other stuff. Yeah, we'd keep the engine and transmissions and sell them off.
Oh, no, man, you're forgetting all the good stuff. You got to have a 6-foot cheater bar. Pull out that tranny, or the radiator, the aluminum tranny radiator behind the radiator, and go back there and get that heater core. That's 5 pounds of pure aluminum.
Nah, we didn't bother with all that. We just took the engines and transmissions, because we'd sell them for a few $100, and scrap the car out, and by the time you got done, you got about $75 to $100 just for the car. And then we'd scrap out, we'd sell the engine and transmission. We got so good, we'd be able to set the engine and transmission on a pallet and start it right there, loose from the car.
Well, my buddy, he had a Dodge with a flatbed and a cherry picker on one corner. He'd get under there and cut the motor mounts, and I'd be underneath the car back when I was skinny, and undo the drive shaft and pull that engine and tranny right straight out of that car, swing it up, put it on the back of his truck, hook up the J-hooks under there with that little car dolly we had, crank it up, and I only had one rule. We had to check the trunk before we went anywhere. We popped the trunk, and one day we found a 3-drawer toolbox full of snap-ons. Good $1,500 worth of tools. Needless to say, he didn't share those. Another time, he was a slant 6 nut. He loved his Dodge slant 6 darts and pickups and everything. This lady said that she had put 3 distributors in this slant 6, and it wouldn't run. It wouldn't everything. And my buddy said, well, what do you want for it? She said, just get that thing out of my sight. Here's the title. She signed it off to him. He took it straight home, raised the hood, took a 1/2-inch wrench, and loosened up the distributor, picked it up about 1.5 inches, turned it 180 degrees, dropped it back down, tightened it up, wrenched it, and hit the ignition, and it run like a brand new car. He sold it for $700.
There you go.
And, you know one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I had a man that had a lawnmower one time, a real lawnmower, and he said he couldn't get it to run. Well, I took off the side pot thing, and the flywheel was rusty as could be. I sanded it down, put some gas on the spark plug, and fired it up, mowed my yard, and turned around and sold it that afternoon for $75. So, there's ways of making money out there.
Yep.
It's a good deal. Where did we learn that? One, by our mistakes and watching others.
Well, my brothers still own a company and they still work. And I worked with them when I was younger, when we were just teenagers. We started the first business we'd ever involved with was we cleaned hog barns. And pigs would drag anything they can back in that barn with them, back in their shed. So we started cleaning out hog sheds and cleaning out whatever was left in there. And we had the the farmers we were doing that for, they would say, oh, well, I got a barn over here you can clean out, or I got an old shed you can clean out. And they'd either pay us to do it or let us keep all the stuff we found out of there. And sometimes we clean a barn out just for the plow points and things like that. They still do that. They still go around and clean stuff out. And they've gotten so good now, they clean out warehouses. They clean out, my one brother's got a deal worked out with, I forget the name of the realty. I want to say Remax. I think it is Remax. Remax Realty. He goes around here in the Cincinnati area and cleans out houses. You'd be surprised what people leave when they leave a house. They just walk away and leave clothes. They leave furniture. He's gotten vehicles. They turn around and leave all kinds of stuff. Some people look like they left in the middle of the night. I mean, they just leave everything.
I know a man that he's a multimillionaire through his business. He owns the business. And what he does, he cleans up train wrecks. If you have a big train wreck, he'll go in, he'll clean up the hazmat mess, put the tanks back online. Any of the box cars, all that is a tax deduction, or insurance deduction. They throw it all away, and he'll buy it for little or nothing, and he'll turn around and resell that back to the places. If you go in there to some of these discount stores that has new stuff, that's where that stuff comes from, is old train wrecks and stuff that's almost out of date. And you'd be surprised, they pick that up for pennies and turn around and sell it for almost $1, and there's big money in that.
Yeah, Show 13 in the room now, he says something very important. He said people would rather take a handout than not start a business. That's so true. We see so many people on YouTube, and one of the things I like to call it is e-begging. Okay, that's where they get on there and go, oh, if you'd like to donate, if you'd like to do this, and I could really use that, but I can't afford it. But if somebody out there would like to send me one, or they complain about something so much until somebody sends them something. We call that e-begging. And there are people whose whole video channels is nothing but e-begging over and over. Oh, I don't have any money for this. I can't do that. Well, that costs money. I can't do this. I can't do that. It costs money. I don't have any money. I don't have a job. I don't have this. I don't have that. It's e-begging.
Rich, permission to speak freely for a minute. I promise I won't cuss.
Well, as long as you ain't naming names.
I'm not naming names, and I promise I won't cuss.
Okay.
For those people that do that, suck it up, get over it, and if you can live as cheap as I do, I want to see a video on it.
There you go.
And the only thing I'm going to ask for from anybody in this room is prayers. So, those are free. Yeah. And, if I can do it, anybody can. That's my motto. I've sat here and I spent 3 hours in a grocery store this week figuring out what was on sale, what I needed, and what's going to last me for the next month. Now, I'm ahead of the game. I have money left, $27. And that means I can go to a store during the month. I can hopefully hit a couple of other places that is giving away some food this week or next week. And I'm doing good, and I know people that make $90,000 a year, and right now I have more food in my house than they do. So,
but you're not. You don't. You don't constantly go, oh, I'm so hungry. Somebody needs to send me something. Oh, if I had this, and I wish if I had that. And even if you don't flat out ask for it, you hear them where they're wishing for it, and they would like to get it, and they're planning on buying it, and they're trying to do this and trying to do that, and they whine over and over and over. You know, and I get people who ask us, they say, well, you're putting out that money for that show, Rich. And I said, yeah. And they said, well, what would make them commercials go away? I said, well, it's just, if it was just money, we wouldn't have a problem. It's writing the program. It's getting everything to mesh together. It's not a financial problem. Now, look, would I want somebody to donate money? Well, sure, that's less money comes out of my pocket. If people donated, that'd be great. But I'm not asking people to do it, and I'm not telling people to do it. I'm just putting it out there at this point in time because we're talking about it. Now, do I need them to do it? No, because we have the expenses covered. I'm not asking for that. But the programs that we use, some of these programs, because we are so cutting edge on what we're doing, bringing this to you live. Even though we're like using Skype, bringing in here, there's no secret about that because you can see the Skype word comes up. There's a program that I got to use that brings the Skype together, that puts these two different things together, plus the program to play the music and everything else, and then transport it back to the internet to wind it up to use the Ustream player that you guys see there, but you have the commercials during it. Now, guess what? Castle has finally got the programs together. She's waiting on the server people to get back with her, and I am guaranteeing you something. We were hoping maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. No guarantees because we're at the mercy of the server people right now. The commercials are going away. I know we said that a month ago, and we tried a program. It didn't work. Castle sat down and tried to write this program with another person and physically sit down and write the programs to work. And now she's gotten everything figured out, got it all intended around, all going through there, and now she's going to get it going that way. So she says by tomorrow night, guaranteed. I'm not going to push her. I'm not going to push her. Do you know how much stuff that woman does? She works on the show stuff here. She works behind the scenes on the computer stuff. She does all her home stuff plus her videos and her own shows. Plus she's got kids, baby, well, not her baby, the kid baby, and husband, which is pretty much like another kid in the house. And, she's got all that in there. God bless her and everybody in that house. But she's got all that stuff going on. And she's doing a great job. And just the other day, her refrigerator conked out. Do you see her putting a video up going, oh, my refrigerator died. I need you all to send me stuff to fix my refrigerator. Oh, my meat's going bad. I need you all to send me $1 million to help buy more meat. No, she doesn't do that. The woman puts her head down and works. That's it. Same as me, same as you, same as most of the people that come here. And that's the great part about it. Every one of us that come here does what we need to do with what we got. Now, are we rich? Heck no. Are we millionaires? Not one bit. We do what we do because out of necessity, and we do what we do because we're raised that way. We're that kind of people. Every one of us in this chat room, I look over here, every one of us in the chat room is that kind of people.
The only thing wrong with Castle Mom is she gets up 3 hours late because she's on the West Coast. We got to forgive her for that, though.
Well, I try.
I'm up at 6 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock in the morning her time. I don't think she wants a phone call from me at 3 a.m.
Yeah, if we're up, somebody else should be up. Everybody should be up at the same time.
I agree, but I don't think she agrees with us.
No, that's the problem with getting hold of these people. A lot of these businesses we deal with are on the West Coast. So it's like noon, and I'm running around here going, I'm wasting half my day. I'm wasting half my day. And then finally these people over there on the West Coast are rolling their butts out of bed. So.
I tell you what, it was rough driving truck when I was out there on the West Coast. They want you to load at 8 o'clock at night, which is 11 o'clock East Coast time, and man, I'm ready to go to bed, and they're still going strong over there.
Yeah, it's like trying to, well, driving a truck on the East Coast is like driving a 53-footer, or driving a truck on the West Coast is like driving a 53-footer on the East Coast. It just don't happen.
Oh, yeah, I did. I done it for 4 years straight.
Yeah, you get up in New York with a 53-footer, they give you a really funny look.
I had one place, the two guys, one jumped up on my right-hand side of my truck, one jumped up on the left-hand side of the truck. They folded my mirrors up against my doors, and I said, I can't see. He says, that's right, we can. You do what we tell you to. And they backed me into a blind dock in the middle of a street, and when they got done, my nose was just barely sticking out on the street across the sidewalk, and I still don't know how I got in or out of there. They jacked that truck around. It took right at 20, 25 minutes of them helping me. They said, without my help, he said, without our help, it would took you 2 hours to get in there if you ever did it.
There you go.
And, oh, man.
Well, we had, I learned how to back a semi in the hard way, because when we loaded Hummers out of a warehouse, you put Humvees, on a flatbed backwards. You drive them backwards on a flatbed out of a dock door and onto the flatbed. And a Humvee will go through a dock door. You fold the mirrors in, you stick your head out. When you go through the dock door, you tuck your head in, you go right on back out the door. You got about 4 inches on each side of the Hummer. Well, I was able to load these Hummers, driving them backwards on these trucks. And you load them down, you stop it, you let a couple inches hang over in the front, unless you've got a 53-footer. And then you pull the next one down, and you stop it a few inches short, and you do the same thing with the third one. You load them on there in the front end, barely hanging over on the back, and you have them chaining down in a certain direction. But I learned that flatbed drivers cannot back, most flatbed drivers cannot back into a dock, because they're never required to back into a dock. They're always told, put it in the yard. Put it in the yard.
Here's the deal. I drove flatbed. If you got those spread axles, and you got 2 sets of tires on the trailer, if they're not, you got the tandems that are together, right, and the spread axles that are far apart. And if you try bracking one of them spread axles, you're a better man than I am, because I mean, it's just, the front tires are trying to do the turning, and the back tires are scraping, and it's just it's a mess.
I can do it with the ones with the box in between the tires in the back. Yeah, I can do it. I can back them into a dock. I've done it with those. I've done it with other short one. I've done it with railroad trailers. I've done it with the nasty little short railroad trailers. I've done all that stuff with these guys' trucks. All I ask them is, show me where reverse is in your truck, because I don't know the up and down. Some of them got the things that go up and down to change the gears. All that stuff. I say, get in the passenger side, put me in reverse. That's all I need you to do. Put it in reverse for me. I'll back this thing in there.
All the way over to your knee and straight up. 9.9% of the time, that's where reverse is at.
I didn't have to hit it exactly, because once I get the truck out there, if I can get 3 wheels of the Hummer on a trailer, I can keep it on there. Going out the dock door and making a hard right turn, that's where you have a problem. But usually them guys, they can't line up straight with the dock door or hit it even or get it close, because most of them just told to pull out in the back. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, with your great grocery haul and your other goodies, you bought some chips?
I did. You want to go ahead and play that video right quick? We'll talk about it.
No, I don't have time to pull that video. I can't pull the video while I'm online.
I did buy some chips. They were the what are they? Hang on. Corn Puff Curls, Dandies.
Oh.
Things are delicious, and I got all my teeth yanked out last year, and they do a real good job. And you can get the cheese flavored, you can get the butter flavored, and they work out real good for me. And that's the only bad thing in the food department that I bought this time around. They were 2 for $5.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta splurge. Sometimes you got. Me, I like them Austin Pepper Jack crackers. I get one of them packages from Wally World. Yes, I shop sometimes at Wally World. I know, the evil China Mart. But yeah, I get them Pepper Jack Austin crackers from Wally World sometimes. I did stop the other day at the dollar store. They had Vienna sausages 2 for $1. And I'm a bad man. I got 2 packages of Vienna sausages.
Well, my grocery store had the pepper jack cheese on sale. I bought pepper jack cheese this week, 2 for £5, and that was a heck of a deal. And that's what I've been munching on for lunch the past 2 days is pepper jack cheese and one of those hams that was cooked. And you know that's good combination, ham and cheese, and sit here and watch a food tube all day. That way you don't have to wash dishes, you don't have to mess up a pan. It's a cheap meal. That ham cost me $8.50. I've had 3 meals out of it, and it still ain't half gone yet. So I'm probably going to get, let's see, at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 meals out of that ham, maybe more. That's a pound. That's a pound of ham a day. You know.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Some of the other saving things I do now. I've got some books here. I picked up a bunch of books at my local library. They have a rack of books that they are getting rid of from the libraries. What do they call it? They're junking the books. They're throwing the books away. But they put them out there so you can buy them for like 50 cents. So, the books get a little tore up and they're a little rough on the edges, or they're old and people aren't checking them out anymore. So they can only carry so many books in the library. So what they do is they take some of the books that they're going to get rid of, or they get newer books of them, and they put them up for sale for 50 cents a book here at my local library. So I've been going in there. They got gardening books, they got cooking books, they got all kinds of different books. I've been picking them up for 50 cents a piece.
That's a good deal.
So
I'll check my library on that.
Yeah, ask them when they're going to discontinue books. It's all the discontinued books are all stamped inside, discontinued from the library and everything. And they got some other books. They got some nice, just regular readable things. I've got a huge hardback copy of Jules Verne, The Mysterious Island. It's a Jules Verne book written from long ago. But I've got cooking books from them. I've got some other stuff. I got a camping book the other day for 50 cents.
My grocery store had books on sale here the day, $1 a piece, but they were more children's books and storybooks. But if you had a family, you could go in there and for $10, you buy Christmas presents on the cheap.
Well, they've got them too. They've got the children's books at the library and everything else. So you got a whole big rack, and they just keep. And if the rack gets so low, they just replenish it again. Check the libraries. They're all for, hey.
I live in an apartment in the middle of a town. Why in the world in my closet do I have 24 conifer traps for trapping? Our show 13 said he had a book on trapping. I went on eBay looking around. These are traps that were 1 year old. I bought them for $3 a piece. They're regular 9 to 15 if you could even buy them new, but you still get them. And I see, it's 3 times 12, 36. I think I paid $55 for 12 of them. Figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, about $7, $8 a piece, right? These things, it was a good deal.
Yeah.
And I sit there. They came in a green. Actually, they came in a box, and I put them in a green grocery bag, reusable grocery bag that I got from the store. And if I have to, I know there's a bunch of tree rats in my tree out front. I live next to a golf course. I can go over and set them in a tree line, and I'm not going to starve. But, supplementing your meat, you can do that in a heartbeat.
Now, I've been doing this bushcraft and survival stuff for so many years now. One of the people that I know, and I actually talked to him when I called into another show. He was on a show on the radio, and I called in. Is Buckshot, Bruce Buckshot. You guys know who Buckshot is? Anyway, he does a lot of trapping and other stuff, and I've known him for so many years. Him and with his wife, and they were in another part of Michigan before they moved, and everything else. They have some great traps that he sells. Bruce does. You can go to Buckshots and pick up all these traps and other things up there. Order them offline. Great guy, great stuff. Now, he's got some books out and everything. We have the luck to also know a gentleman by the name of JC. And JC has been on the show before. He's a really good friend of Foggy's. He's a friend of mine, a really good friend of Foggy's. And he has agreed to teach courses in primitive trapping. So, he's going to teach other trapping stuff, like you got the conibear traps and stuff like that there. And he's willing to do that, and you need to check out his YouTube channel, which is SRSS 2012. But JC specializes at primitive trapping also, and he has agreed to help teach us courses when we get the course stuff set up here in another month or so. So that's going to be something for everybody to look forward to who's interested in trapping. Myself, I like snares. For my survival situation in that, I carry no less than 30 snares in my fanny pack bag, my get-home bag, which I could live out of if I had to. There are 30 snares in that bag. And what they are is they are 24-inch long stainless steel fishing leaders. And I fashion them into snares. That's what they are. 24-inch long stainless steel fishing leaders. Has a swivel on one end, able to pass through the clip on the other, and makes a wonderful snare. Been using those for years. Was shown that trick years ago before he passed away by Ron Hood.
You're going to have to show me how to use them, Rich. I know how to make them, but I've never used them.
Yeah?
One thing that I don't know how to do.
Set a snare?
The cable snares like that, I've never done it.
Well, you know what? I don't normally do it. I'll do this one time. Hold on. This is your show. Give me a second here. Hold on. I got to take this earplug out.
I'm going to refresh my room, ladies and gentlemen. And
you guys are going to have to forgive me tonight because yes, paracord snares, yes, same thing, paracord snares. I'm not in Studio B. I am in the bedroom tonight, and I am not dressed for this, but I do have clothes on. So let me see. I will move you over a little bit here. Let's see, move you over, move me down. Hi, how you doing? All right. Everybody see me in the website now? Kind of scary. My glasses. I look like I got glowing eyes with my glasses. That's scary looking. All right. what I use, I get from Bass Pro, but you can order these. This Offshore Angler is the name brand, but these are 24-inch. Okay. Now it'll tell you up here. You guys can't see this because it's too small. I got pants on. I'm sitting down, so they'll never know. You never know. I could do this show with no pants. You guys would never know. I could be wearing a skirt. Anyway, these are 24-inch long, and this is 45-pound test. 45-pound test. All right. I normally don't do this. I'm going to do this for you guys. This is so simple. Let me get one of these out of here. Now this is braided wire. Okay, this is what this is. You can use any wire. Look, in a survival situation, let's say the end of the world happens. Do you know how much wire is in your walls? Do you know how much wire is in a car? Do you know how much, how easy it's going to be to find cordage and wire if you know where to look for it? All you got to do is poke a hole in the wall and grab the wire.
Braided wire.
That's right. Well, no, you could use strand. You could use regular wire. Doesn't matter. Any kind of wire. You can use string for this. Okay? If you want to catch a horse, you can make a snare with a rope. Doesn't matter. That's all a lasso is. It's a long snare. Alright, so I have this fishing leader. You buy this, and it comes with a swivel on one end. Okay? Got a swivel on one end. Alright? And it has this snap loop on the other end. Now, some people don't like to use a snap loop and they take it off. That's fine, because the way this is crimped at the end, it has this little loop here that is actually part of the wire. See that loop there? Hopefully that snaps hanging in. All you have to do is, and you can see this, I take the swivel, I drop the swivel through the end where the clip is. I have made a snare. That's it. There's a snare. Okay? Now, I can attach the swivel end to a piece of cordage, and believe it or not, with the size of this that this is, a piece of paracord will fit through there with no problem. Okay? You put your paracord through there and you tie this off. Or you could take and wire it off with another piece of wire, or anything else you want to do, attach this to a tree, or a log drag, or anything else. Then you set the size of your snare, whatever size you want it to be. And to get it to stay, you can put a little kink in it, wherever you want it at. So if I want it bigger, I can put a little kink over here. Doesn't hurt it any, it just helps it stay open there, okay? Depending on the size of the animal you're going for. Let's say about fist size, I'm going to go for a squirrel or something. I would set this up, okay? I would set this up that the height that the squirrel's at. So, knowing that a squirrel runs along just a few inches above the ground, I just usually set it about that big, and I would set this so that the snare was a little bigger than his head. So he comes along, sticks his head through there, it catches on his neck, and hopefully he's moving and it'll snag him. Or he'll go through it and he'll panic and jump off the log and it'll hang him. I can do the same thing with a squirrel, or not a squirrel, but a rabbit. I can make it big enough so the rabbit's head can go through there. Now, a lot of books tell you as big as a fist for a rabbit. Here's a problem they don't think about. What's a rabbit got on top of its head?
Ears.
The rabbit runs into it with his ears. He's going to go, wow, what's that? Okay? You want to see something funny and you know where deer are and you know where deer cross? Take a piece of fishing line, a regular piece of small fishing line. It can be 2-pound test, it doesn't matter. Run it across a deer trail. The deer will walk along. As soon as that deer hits that piece of fishing line, that deer will freak out because it doesn't see it, it hits it, it feels it on there, it's not natural. The deer's backing up, trying to get away, freaking out, jumping up and down. You want to protect your garden? You don't need to put a giant deer net up. All you need to do is put some fishing line around the garden. The deer walks into that fishing line, the deer's not coming back. He doesn't know what that is. That's it for a snare. A piece of wire with a loop on the end made into a noose. That is a snare. You don't have to use a... These are made already pre-packaged. Okay? I like these. There's 6 of them in this container. And how much room does that take up in my bag?
Not very much at all, Rich.
There you go. Now, snares and traps, there's something you need to understand about snares and traps. In a survival situation, snares and traps don't care what they catch. It will take a rabbit, it will take a squirrel, it will take the family dog, it will take a small child's leg, it will take a small child's hand. It doesn't matter. A snare doesn't think, doesn't, any trap doesn't think, doesn't care. It will catch whatever you put into it. Now, with that said, you also need to understand this kills by strangulation, or it holds it until you come along and whack it to death, or shoot it, or whatever else. Other traps that clamp around the body squeeze it to death and kill it. Okay? This is not the most humane trap there is. And it's a numbers game. The big thing is, why do I carry 30 of them? It's a numbers game. Foggy's done his show. Fog professionally traps where he's at over in England. He may put out up to 600 traps and may only get 2 things in that 600 traps. You've heard him on the shows before say, I put out 600 traps and we didn't get anything last night. 600 traps and then nothing stepped into that trap last night. It's a numbers game. The more traps you put out, the more likely you'll catch something. So if you see a guy who goes, oh yeah, my survival bag, I carry 3 snares. You go, ooh, that's going to be a hungry guy. You got a dozen snares. That's great. Guys do trap lines. They put out hundreds of snares. You know, it all depends on how many traps you can, as we call it, running. How many traps you can run. How many traps you can do. Same with fishing. The more hooks you got out there, the more chances are you catching something. Same with traps. The more traps you got out there, the more chances are you're catching something.
There's a video that I'm going to put up, Rich, as soon as I get the stuff to make it. It's got to do with fishing, and if I'm going to show everybody how to do it. I do know for a fact it is illegal in every 50 states. But in a significant life-altering event, you're going to need to feed your family. Snares in a lot of states are illegal, but we're going to get to it to the point that we may need it. It's one thing that we can learn how to do. It's another tool in our belt.
It may be illegal, but you can, in an emergency situation, in life or death situation, a survival situation, you can use it. You have to be able to prove that you were in a life and death situation to use it and get by with it. If the game warden comes by and they find you, but you'll be real happy in a life or death situation to see the game warden anyway. You'd be happy to see anybody in a life or death situation. But one of the things, you know the trick with using walnut hulls for fishing?
Do what?
Do you know the trick about using walnut hulls for fishing?
Yeah, it's like rotenone. It takes the oxygen out of the water and they'll roll up.
Yeah.
But, you can do that. All you got to do is crush them out and throw them in there.
Yep.
And fish will float to the top. It gets on their gills and makes them where they can't breathe, what it amounts to.
All kinds of different tricks out there. We used to use that when I was younger. We used that in a creek down by the house. We put 2 5-gallon buckets full of crushed walnut hulls in there. So I'm just about out of walnuts here at the house. I'm waiting on the trees to come up and start bringing me walnuts. Now when the trees are ready, I'll be gathering them again. So from last fall until now, my walnuts have held out. I got 1 gallon bag left of walnuts.
That's the black walnuts that we're talking about, right, Rich?
Yeah. And I'm totally out of hickory nuts. And I ate the last of the pecans the other day. The pecans were in here, and I ate the last of them. So I'm about to go nuts because I got no nuts.
Be surprised what you can... there's a lot of things that I'd like to get a book or something on homesteading the old-fashioned way out on the prairie. They've done cooking with manure and cow manure and stuff like that. They still do that in some of the third world countries.
Yep.
There's no wood, no gas, no nothing. They dry out the cow manure, and that's what they cook with.
There's actually businesses over in third world countries that collect manure. In India, there are places that collect manure, and the people actually go and pay for it to get the manure to cook their dinners because there's no wood. And they actually go over there and buy the manure to cook their dinners.
Another thing on YouTube that I think I find fascinating, I watch every video I can get on it, is they take the manure and they wash it down into a big underground tank, and then that bubbles up and they pressurize that tank and it turns into methane, and they use the methane for gas in their houses.
Yep.
And it works just like natural gas, and that's the most natural gas that you can make is methane, and that's what they use. And they got a pilot light and a stove, the whole bit, just like you would your natural gas, only it's methane, and that's because they got a poop tank out back. It works out.
They should get me after a hard-boiled egg weekend. I got enough methane in me there. I could run a couple of houses.
I agree.
So, well, all right, country. It's been a good show. This is about the end of it. I'm gonna let you close it out. Anything else you want to say? Well, you know what? I got one more thing to do before we close this out. Let me do this real quick. Everybody, be quiet for a second.
Shh.
Well, I thank you guys for joining us tonight at Around the Cabin, and I invite you back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Castle Mum and Crew. We'll see you Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here Around the Cabin.
How was that? Was that cute? How was that? You back? You with me, country?
I'm with you, but I didn't see nothing. Oh, there it goes.
You're watching it on the other thing. Okay.
Little switch up deal.
Yep. I'm gonna make one for everybody, and I'll probably do something a little different with it. But I was just playing around today, shooting a couple other video things, so I figured I'd make one up for Castle and do it that way for her show tomorrow, and a couple other goodies there. Anything else you want to say?
Well, just God bless everybody, and any ideas what you want to hear from me? You know what I'm good at or not good at or whatever, but hit me a message on YouTube or Skype or Facebook or here on the channel and let me know what you want to talk about. I'm not running out of ideas, but what I wanted to keep everybody interested and keep coming back to our shows, so input. I'd like to hear what everybody wants to talk about, man. And just next week, I'll try to have a little better show and have something new and educational for you guys. I don't know what yet, but I promise I'll do better.
Well, I thank you and appreciate the show. It was a good show, and I'm sorry I didn't get the video for you. I did misunderstood what you wanted with the video thing, but I've been talking all day with a guy in Australia, and I think I'm going to play us out with something here, and I'll catch up with you all later. Everybody have a good